Hey guys, welcome back to Astrology in the Wild. This is Key Tyler. Today we're discussing the full moon in Libra that is happening on March 25th, 2024, which is a Monday. And we'll just go ahead and get into it. It's going to be at 5 degrees. And so the sun and the moon are opposing each other. They're about 10 degrees away from the nodes. So that means that it's not exactly an eclipse. However, there are eclipse energies. So we are feeling the precipice or the prerequisite for the upcoming eclipse that's happening in April. And so what is this full moon trying to bring to light for you? What is it trying to illuminate and help you acknowledge? So really, this axis of Aries Libra has to do with relationship. That's in a nutshell, the relationship to you and yourself, and versus the relationship between you and other people, or even how other people see you, what other people need from you. It is a blending of knowing how to be in relationship with other people and knowing when to have that boundary and the wherewithal to be in moments of solitude, to gather yourself, to recharge, to think about yourself. We have been in the interpersonal signs for the last part of the last couple months. And so now we are coming into the sun being in personal signs. So personal signs are going to be the astrological signs of Aries through Virgo. And so you're going to be more geared toward a subjective point of view, towards your own personal goals. How do you see yourself in the world in a way that keeps you out of these fight or flight moments of survival, which really, what a nutshell Aries brings to the table is survival tactics, ways for battle, ways to utilize your strength and your power. And all of us have Aries in our charts and Mars, but we all do it in very specific ways. So along with this day of the Libra full moon, we are coming into an agreement, coming into alignment, coming into balance with who we are, our goals, and where we see ourselves, and also where that is just in juxtaposition to other people, what they have, what we need. So on this day, there's a lot of Piscean energy. What that means is there's a stellium of planets, 3 or more planets in the sign of Pisces. So it gives this flavor of, not to say that it's passivity in terms of like you're not doing anything, but there is a receiving and there is an opening. Instead of a closing off or taking charge, it's more of a relaxed state because you're kind of waiting for the world around you to show you the next steps. And so Venus and Saturn are making a connection that leads me to believe that in retrospect, a lot of the things that we've been doing we feel are new. However, they're really old playbooks. We are still playing the game with an old set of rules. So what type of rules are keeping you stuck when it comes to what you really want and what you need? So what you want versus what you need. How are the old values keeping you stuck? And I don't know how this could play in your life, but I feel as if it's going to be affecting the areas of life that have to do with if your life is actually functioning, if your work life actually feels good and makes you happy, that gives you the resource that you need, and getting yourself back in order, because we all know that we tend to let things go into forms of chaos towards the end of the year, and then we're trying to like pick it up when Aries season comes. We're all like, oh my gosh, today I'm warm, and now I realize there's so many things to do. And so even though that is the feeling, with all of the Pisces energy, it gives us a chance to kind of slow down a little bit. We have the motivation and the energy to do particular things, but there's something in the background that's like, hey, you need to be a little more relaxed about this approach. You're not recreating the wheel here. You're not saying something that hasn't already been said. So relax. I see this with Mars just changing into the sign of Pisces, not yesterday, but the day before. Mars just changing into Pisces. It's at 1 degree, so we've been in it for a couple days. And the sun being in Aries makes us look to where Mars is in the chart. And this also happens when we are looking for and charting the nodal relationships, the nodal relationship of the moon. So we are looking at Mars and we're looking at Venus for a whole year. And for the full moon, again, we're still looking at Mars and Venus. Now, this is very prominent because Venus is next to and in the middle of 2 planets where you might know where you're going, and you do know where you're going based off of what you used to know, but you are learning new technologies and are trying to bring yourself back online to something that's more upgraded. You don't even know what hardware has been upgraded yet because you can't even fathom. You have not applied it yet. We are just waking up. And so uh, there needs to be a battle not to escape, in which I don't feel like a lot of people are going to escape. I think you're going to notice times when you would escape, when you would normally poop out, right? And you will lean off and on towards the natural inclinations of survival. So you may automatically say no because you know that's something you're not wanting to do. In reality, the goals that you're setting forth to move forward actually include you participating. And so you might come to these things where you run up against your natural way of acting, and then you're going to have to look back inside and go, okay, wait, no, I'm trying to have different moments, different goals, a different experience of life right now. So letting things go is good. Giving things up to God can be good. However, it's better if you are applying that knowledge in a new way. So if that is your mainstay and always your approach to things, it may not pan out the way you want. Because again, we are looking for new technology to apply to these new situations, these new crises, these new things that are coming up for us. See, that was a reminder, boop, boop, that life is coming for us in a different way. You might around this time start to feel and remember these maybe painful moments in life. They might be flashes or flashbacks. I say that because Mercury and Chiron are very close together, and Mercury will go into retrograde on April 1st. So 5 days after the Libra full moon, Mercury will go retrograde, and we will start to think back, look inside, and go a little deeper. And so when it's close to Chiron like that wounded healer, we have this tendency to think about all of the things, be reminded of all of the things, and or be surrounded by people who remind us of these moments in which we really had to search deep down for the juice, for the energy to keep going. This could be something like you being in a relationship and realizing that like you've had some really unsavory, maybe abusive, maybe ungood relationships, and those will be reminders for you on how to shape and reformulate your goals. See, this is the new upgraded system we're talking about. This is reminders of what you will not go back to, reminders of who you are not and how much you've changed. So when these things do come up, don't get down on yourself. They are all ways to show you on where you are in relation to where you've been. So I want to go back to the attachments. There are some of these old dated values that are keeping you stuck and attached, right? And so what are some of the health related attachments and habits that you have? We're really focused on health, immunity, getting the body back online, getting your immune system, whether it's spiritually, getting your spiritual practice cleansed, back online, cleansing your system, cleaning up your diet. Those are all really big things that are on everybody's plate right now. It may have been something that you were very much focused on when the new year came, when the Gregorian calendar came for the new year, but in all actuality, the new year starts March 19th. When the sun changes into the sign of Aries, we are actually able to apply that in which we set forth when the Gregorian calendar new year came. So open up your journals. I want you to revisit a lot of the goals that you had set forth. I want you to realize where you kept yourself stuck, because you're seeing these patterns and realizing that these patterns need to change, because you need and desire a new form of being. Yeah, it's crazy. This is actually what happens when there's a lot of fire in the chart. You hear fire engines, you hear ambulances. The sun is in Aries today. The moon is in Leo. It is actually the first day of spring equinox. And this is what's happening in the neighborhood. People feel the heat. People are burning themselves. People are getting caught. People are not ready yet. And so if you don't feel ready yet, just realize that we're all kind of on that same wagon. We have to pay attention, and we have to know where we need to address ourselves. So just as we heard all of the sirens, people coming to other people's aid because of health-related crises and issues, I need you to be mindful of how you're going to keep yourself safe and protected as you move forward for the next 2 weeks. And if you are thinking about retraining yourself, redoing things in your life, habits that have been not great for you can be completely trained out of you right now. It might take a little bit more time, but and you actually might be more focused on how it's actually made you feel instead of just changing the thing, disassociating with it, and hoping it never comes back. Right now, the changing of habits means you have to sit in the muck. You have to sit in the uncomfortable because you're realizing, I'm alive. After all of these things that I've done, I'm still alive. And I have the will to live. I have the will to stand on my 2 feet alone, maybe shoulder to shoulder with other people that have the same thought process, but in the end, I'm able to stand alone. And so, do your habits, does your daily life support you? Are you showing up for yourself in new ways? Show up for yourself in ways that you've never done before. I need you to pick something, just one thing that you haven't done in a long time, you've never tried before, and I need you to try it. And I need you to show up for yourself for at least 30 days. What this can actually do is, because you're showing up for yourself in different ways, other people are going to start treating you different. And they're going to start treating you in the way that you treat yourself. So if you treat yourself with love, with kindness, acceptance, knowing who you are, your natural inclinations, not getting down on yourself for it, knowing who you are, then what proceeds is this idea of, wow, I'm really starting to magnetize to me people that know what I'm talking about. People who are treating me in ways that really feel amazing. I deserve. A lot of times people think that Aries season or a lunar event with Aries is always going to bring about aggression and anger. It has that tendency. However, the overarching theme is that people are still having a hard time getting out of bed, so they don't really have the energy to get all up in your butt about things that are not going their way. There are going to be cases in which, a lot of people are going to get their asses handed to them when it comes to what they're being told about what they've been doing, and those types of things. However, for the most part, I think everybody's still trying to wake up. And so March 25th, Monday is ruled by the moon. I think people are going to be in their feelings, but there's going to be an approach that is maybe a little bit more relaxed, a little more willing to accept, a little more willing to let go. If that's not naturally in you, that's okay. But I think that this is the energy that we're trying for. And whether you hit it a couple hours a day or not, Now, there are a lot of people in the world who feel that they're supposed to be doing something right now, but they don't feel like they know exactly what it is. They have had a lot of things happen, and they are wanting to put things in action. But again, what am I going to put into action? And sometimes when you are really waiting for the answers for yourself, you will pour into other people until those things come about. And I'm asking you to not create a boundary around, but to understand that you do have boundaries when it comes to help. Discerning when to help, discerning when to allow other people to help you is a thing. You don't always have to let people in, and you don't always have to feel required to show up for other people in that way. Especially if this is your natural way of being. You're always running to people's rescue and things like this. Maybe it's time to look at a lot of those cases and maybe tell yourself no on one of them. I do see too that with this Libra axis, I tend to think that Libra brings a bit of indecision, because Libra is the sign that sees themselves through other people or in relationship to other people. A lot of times standing alone is hard for them. They go to a restaurant, there's all of these choices. They want to order what their friend's ordering because, they just don't know what they want. All of them sound good. Any of them could sound like the right choice. And so I'm saying that sometimes that behavior is a learned behavior and not actually because you don't know. Sometimes you might be just afraid to say what it is you want because it's different from others. And maybe you do want some of what someone else has. And maybe you do want some of what you have. But when it boils down to it, Are you able to fully make a decision on your own? And you may have to make some hard choices by yourself and not counsel and be with particular people that have been there for you in the past. This is, again, a time of standing alone. If you're wanting to be creative, you must be active. So the physical body and getting the physical body back online in a more routine and healthful way will ignite so many creative centers in you. The sun is now in the sign of Aries, and that is a fire sign. It is ready to create, it is ready to go, it is ready to make moves. Where are we going to deposit this energy? Where are we going to get energy from? And in order to have the energy, it sounds so counterproductive, but you have to exercise to get more energy. You have to build the stamina needed to stand up and fight and battle. And that's the energy that we're bringing into this full moon in Libra. So really, how it's affecting the body, we have talked a lot about that. How these energies could be affecting your day-to-day, your routines. But really, I want to talk about the body for a moment. So if you haven't checked out my Aries season video, I implore you to go take a look. But if you don't feel like going over there, you don't have to. The bottom line is, when the sun is in Aries, we are dealing with the head. We are coming from the all cosmic realm, this floating, soft, passive energy, and it's all getting shoved back into the body. It's getting shoved in through the head. So the eyes, the brain, the top of the head, that's all going to be affected in different ways for different people. I do know that can bring a time of tension headaches, blockages in the nose, because Scorpio rules the nose, and the traditional ruler of Scorpio is Mars. And so this area is something that we're going to really be focused on. So take your allergy meds. Make sure that you're doing your detoxing. I did talk a little bit about the green walnut, doing a parasitic cleanse and reducing the meat so the parasites can come out and you can have like a better, cleaner digestive system. So those are great ways of taking care of the body, because the immune system needs to be worked on. It needs to be strengthened. There's a lot that we're going to be doing this year, and we're playing catch up. So it's all about a slow removal of everything that's kind of kept us alive for the past couple months. And we are jumping back into things that are more alive, things that are fresher, things that take less time, that move through the body quicker, so that we can stay on top of it. So you're going to need to discern and pick apart some of these things. And I'm sorry to harp on the health so much, but the way that I'm reading the chart, there's just a lot of energy in that arena. I know a lot of people too, as an ad lib, are going to be considering and thinking about new forms of work. You are going to be, some of you might be considering, where else am I a good fit? What else can I get into? What are my skills? And if I don't have the skills, I might need to be educated in order to get into that field. I don't really see a huge kick on education at the moment, but I do see a recognition that you do need to realize where else you can stand, what other gifts and talents that you have, and moving forward with that. So, if you wanted to do a couple journal prompts, I have a couple questions you can ask yourself. So in a nutshell, look at where you have let things go. Could be within the past month or the past 3 months. We're thinking about the winter season in particular. What are the particular things that have gotten out of control? Are you able to put words to that and acknowledge or see that it has been a tendency or could be a future tendency? So what? Identify the what. Prompt of not necessarily needing to change it. We're not looking for solutions here. We're just identifying and making things. We're identifying and naming things in our awareness, because we know that the natural world is going to provide to us the answers. We can't forge ahead quite yet. We're still trying to come back online and in the body. So, just naming it, just putting some words to paper about what has gotten out of control. I swear, when you walk out of your house, you're probably going to see a lot of things just fumbling out, and you're just like, okay, well, that's out of control, and so is that, and I've let that go, and I haven't, right? Many things. And the last question, after you've kind of analyzed this for yourself, you've just made yourself aware of where the control has gotten away from you. I want you to then look at your spiritual hygiene. What is spiritual hygiene? It is literally how you approach the day, and whether it's a clean source of energy or one that keeps you in this really deep, ugly darkness, right? The sun has come out to play. It's time to come out of the darkness. It's time to come out of the deep waters and come to shore. We are coming from the oceanic Pisces era, and we are washing up on the beach, and we're trying to get that sun. And so, what are we leaning on to get ourselves through the day? Because we know that all of these things that are in our awareness, from the corruption to the wars to the lack of resource, what do you believe in? What keeps you sane in a spiritual sense? Not everybody needs to be spiritual, but do you have a positive way of looking at things? Are you able to find happiness? It's very interesting. Before the winter came, I saw a video from someone who stated that the religion of Islam is going to be the largest religion by the year 2030 or something like this, maybe 2050. And just recently, I saw that Little John and this social activist and his wife, Sean King, they both converted basically within the same weekend. I think it was last weekend. And for them, they have a clear definition of spiritual hygiene through the religion that they chose, right? But not all of us are into religious studies. Sometimes we are more metaphysical. Sometimes we like things that are more esoteric. And so, is there a practice in that? Is there a way that we can address the imperfections and the injustices in life and make it so that we are cleaning ourselves every day, so that we're more hygienic for what is happening? Because if you're not able to do something about it, then you do have to move forward in some kind of way. So watch my last video because it really goes over in what ways that you need to really look at this for the next 30 days. And just identifying for yourself, what is spiritual hygiene? What can I do every day? What can I think every day? What supports me daily? That keeps me clean mentally, that kind of keeps me fresh, that keeps me going, that keeps me able to move and spread my positive energy to other people. What is that? Is it God? Is it your tarot cards? Is it the fact that, you believe everything happens for a reason? What is this routine? And outline it. Again, making awareness around the things that do work and also the things that are not working, because the solutions to these problems are coming. And that is the full moon in a nutshell. Creating awareness around potentially what we lack or what we need from other people, and realizing what we need more from ourselves. I hope that this has met you in a good way. I want to say happy birthday to all the Aries people. Thank you to everyone who showed up to my yoga class last week on AstroStar. If you were not able to join, I'm giving another one this coming Wednesday, the 28th. So I hope to see you there. We will be working on these very energies and working on the body parts that this rules. We'll be working on the chakras. You can sign up this week, and thank you so much for the people who did show. It was a really fun class, and I look forward to creating more classes that are built around the energetic centers of the body, the chakras, how the chart is affecting our lives, and how the planetary energies can move in our favor. And that is all I have for you today. Have a wonderful day. Many blessings to you, and I'll see you in 2 weeks for the new moon. Peace.